community, and so much more. Act now, and TMOS listeners get a cool special deal, an absolutely free extended trial of Hulu Plus. Just go to huluplus.com/TMOS. Again, that's huluplus.com/TMOS. You'll love it.
The following program is brought to you by More Broadcasting. For more information, visit us at morebroadcasting.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for O'MearaCast, featuring Marcus Serta. Without further ado, let's bring him in here. America's favorite P1 listener, Mr. Marcus Serta.
Live from the Green Mountain Studios in Vermont, this is O'MearaCast. Welcome, everybody. This week's episode of O'MearaCast is brought to you by the Mike O'Meara Show's Amazon page. Have you heard that story before? Jason's looking at me like this. You know, I've heard this before already. You know what? But Amazon's got a great deal on hair coloring products. So if you want to take the gray out of that beard of yours, go to Amazon through the Mike O'Meara Show link at MikeO'MearaShow.com. Do that today. Also, if you're looking for difficult neck hairs, you know, get cleaned up for the night out that you're going to have with that lovely person in your life. Or, you know, if you need tweezers because you'd rather pluck them out, go to MikeO'MearaShow.com/Amazon today and get a deal and support the show you love. Okay, let's get this show rolling, okay? Because we've been monkeying around here trying to get things set up. I've got Jason Cody in studio with me and Steve Mermelstein. God bless.
Mermelstein.
Thank you, Merle Malstein, and he is in here. He works with Ustream, so he is helping us Ustream this episode of O'MearaCast. You can go to Ustream.com/Marcus Serta, right?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. By the way, if you've listened to previous shows, Jason, I know you haven't shared a show with Steve before.
No.
You'll notice that Steve is very talkative.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Re-listened last night.
Well, I have a hard time jumping in because you don't stop talking.
Oh, he's already in the ball busting. All right.
And I heard the comment about me along those lines.
Yeah. Well,
I put him in front of a microphone.
We've got a lot of stuff to cover today. And, Steve, thanks for setting everything up.
No problem.
It's great. Unfortunately, I still look like a fat guy in this video, by the way. But I appreciate the effort you're going to.
It's like the line from Tommy Boy. Does this shirt make me look fat? No, it's your face.
From the 3 chins up. I look terribly, terribly fat. And you didn't,
the first one up, it's not bad.
You didn't get the shot of Jason showing off his really fantastic TED shirt, which is now becoming an O'MearaCast must-wear.
It's a tradition.
Yeah, every show he wears that shirt. It's a little creepy. I wonder if he has any other shirts.
I do, but they show off the man teats more. And we're on video today.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about...
Plus, you talk about it. I figure people should get a chance to see it.
Well, we're going to talk about your man teats a little bit later in the show.
I'm sure we will.
Because we've got a really significant food segment, thanks to TMOS for providing lots of material to talk about that, and some other side topics relating to food. So we'll get into that later in the show. But let's start with what I think is probably the most significant issue of the day today, and this came up this week on TMOS. And you've got to remember to always turn up the volume when doing a show. Otherwise, you have a Rob can't dial a phone moment.
Mode.
Yeah.
You know, we are the sprinter who breaks his leg out of the blocks. There's no question.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those days. But anyway, here's TMOS.
All right, Tom, it's been a slice of heaven, and Tom, you're a good guy. We love you, and look forward to seeing you at the live show. We'll tell you all about it, okay, so you can come out.
I got the number I can call in.
No, you don't have the number.
I do.
You wait, hold on a second. You have our number right now?
Yeah. It came up on the call.
Hold on, wait. Hold on, please. Please.
You didn't block it.
Please.
Get off.
All right, Tom?
Yeah?
You have that number?
Yep.
I want you to destroy it.
Okay.
You can never call that number.
Okay.
Tom, if you ever call us, you're going to ruin it, okay?
I'm going to one-up this. Tom, no. Tom, you grab that piece of paper right now.
That's off.
You grab that piece of paper that you wrote the number down. I know you did that. No, you crumble it up and you eat it.
It's
Tom, if you ever call this number, you know, we just have to keep it a private line. It's our private line.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
We got to change the number.
No, we got to take the phone away from Spiewak. You didn't block his number. You didn't block. That's the whole. I specifically said we're taking. He took the block off that he can accept calls from blocked numbers. That means you have to block the number.
I forgot.
First off, Rob had the worst week with the phone. Whether
really
it was
did.
attempting to dial out or it was this fiasco, which is giving the number to Tom Gavin.
Not for nothing. Do you think Mike might have been wrong there? The feeling I get is that Tom never removed the block from the phone
I had that same thought.
because Rob didn't dial with the block on when they got him.
Yeah, I thought about that when it happened, but, you know, again, you end up with a scenario here where, let me ask the question, and I am going to get blasted. And I think I got blasted a little bit last night from some people because of what I was already hinting at. Tom Gavin, do you think he's radio gold or cancer?
What's the answer you want from me? That's my question.
No, I'm asking you for yours.
I'm going to tell you the blunt and honest truth. I
for
was effing delighted.
Really?
I love
totally
Tom
disagree.
Gavin. I love Tom Gavin. Dennis Murphy, I'm not a huge fan. Tom Gavin is radio gold as far as I'm concerned because you get the delighted Mike O'Meara whenever Tom gets involved. He pulled it off with the stick it up your monkey ass Santana comment. And we're always going to get something. We almost got Watch. We came real close. It's always entertaining to me. He is a real-life Charlie.
Mike was giddy as a schoolgirl talking to Tom on the phone. And I get it. And that's fine. And that's entertaining when Mike is entertained.
Small doses.
But please, there is so many, to use another comedian's line, you know, here's your sign. Just please give him a sign, let him move on.
Right.
Please. Steve, what is your thought on that?
I agree. He is cancer, and it's unbelievable how much of a one-trick pony he is. You know, like you can have a parrot on, and you'll have a more interesting conversation.
Yeah. They had to go back to, and I know they did this for years, asking him about his breakfast.
Right.
Do I care? I really don't care.
No, but
I was waiting for the spelling bee to begin.
that was traditionally the great content was the spelling. And every now and again you'd have that moment where he's like, bang, 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 off the rails. And you never knew it. You usually expected it right out of the gate, but he'd be close.
Yeah. And then, of course, they have that conversation that we heard right there. And what does he do later on? Because Mike said during the clip that, Tom, we're going to tell you when the live show is. He couldn't wait. He couldn't wait.
Neither
So
could you.
30 minutes later, hey, I was told to call in. I did what I was told. But Tom did not. 30 minutes later, he's ringing back in going, hey, you got the information on the live show? And that's much more eloquent than Tom did it. But still, I mean, that's the information he was looking for.
Yeah.
I just, for me, as far as I'm concerned, Tom Gavin could go away.
You clearly
last night on Facebook, I had some very odd comments. But again, whether it's email, text, or Facebook, there are times when there are just things you don't quite get because of the way that it's written. So last night, I wasn't quite sure if this guy was like jerking my chain or what, but whether he was already defending Tom. As far as I'm concerned, if Tom wants to call into O'MearaCast, I'll talk to him. I'll have him on the show. I'll treat him like anybody else.
Be careful what you wish.
I understand. The number is public knowledge. I put it out there. Even this guy that was talking to me last night on Facebook said, I've told Tom he's going to call in. Well, you know, I'm looking here now. No calls yet.
To be fair, we're not on the radio in that neck of the woods.
No, we're not
Tom
popular.
He's a radio guy. Tom listens on the radio, and I'll bet you anything. This is the first we've really heard about Mr. Thomas Aloysius Gavin, and I'm willing to bet you that the only reason he's in touch is because they were on a small station in the area, and he's been listening. Because the only thing he wants to do is hear his voice on the radio.
That's an interesting thought. I agree with you, but let's back up for a second. That may be the case, but this whole conversation started because he started private messaging Carla.
Right, but that was recent. There hasn't been an ongoing private message.
No, I agree. But let me ask you this.
Phone calling.
Let me ask you this, and I'm going to turn to Steve because Jason's getting enough face time. Carla starts getting personal messages from Tom Gavin. I know you don't particularly care for Tom, but honestly, your wife starts getting private messages from Tom Gavin or anybody asking to be on your show or do something with you. Doesn't that just... And I understand he can't spell. He's already got social issues. Wouldn't you just want to beat him? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I'd be furious.
I would be mad. Right. I would be like, look, if you want something from me, you contact me. You don't go through my wife. She's not on the show. She's not a part of the show. Don't contact her. I mean,
and he's very obvious about what he wants to do.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely.
Dennis would do the exact same thing if he had been given the same opportunity. If Carla had friended Dennis on Facebook, there absolutely would have been contact through Carla about merchandising T-shirts.
I'm sure that he's getting to it. It takes him longer to dial a phone for particular reasons that I won't go into at the moment.
Voice styling doesn't even work for him.
No. He's...
No, I'm an operator.
Can you imagine the headache that Siri has on his phone?
They don't make a wand for that. It'd be more like an oven mitt with a pointer on it.
There's that dragon translating software. It's supposed to learn. I don't think
it doesn't.
I don't think it's capable.
It doesn't. Take it from someone in the healthcare profession. It's not as popular as most people seem to think it is.
I think you would have to get. I think you would have to be trying to voice dial with the Whopper. Would you like to play chess? Anyway, so go back to why you love Tom Gavin. What else about him is so entertaining? Because it's the same thing every time.
Well, okay, let's... Once again, I'd like to announce my last appearance on the show. There are a number of elements of this program that are repetitious, are they not? There are times when I hear the breaching
welcome to this show. Oh, by the way, how's that sign in your front yard?
Yeah.
You can't touch it. Sorry, go ahead. I love the public persona the show's developed. Let me tell you. The child-touching whoremonger with the big gut. How does he catch them? So the thing of it is we hear it with Mike all the time. How many times do we hear certain stories? I've got them memorized. Do you? I have some of them memorized, not all of them. I mean, we have been regular listeners of Mike. We'll just speak of Mike specifically, but we've been regular listeners of Mike for how long? 10, 20 years?
I've been listening for 16 years, but I will say that it's almost become more pronounced in the 1 hour format of the podcast. I can tell you this right now. Nothing personal to Mike. I love his humor. I love the show. I'm always going to listen. But I could live without ever hearing the story about the college freshman drawing the male unit on the chalkboard again, because I think it's been discussed 15 to 20 times on the
But
podcast.
It relates to so many things in life, does it not?
I suppose so, but there's no longer suspense to the punchline.
In a minute, we're gonna transfer over. We're gonna talk about college life, and believe me, that story should come up again.
Perhaps. But the point is, Tom's a one-trick pony. Dennis is a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Gladys was a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
These are all the assorted cashews and nuts that come with having syndicated programming and live phone lines. Now, they're not going to use this as an incoming phone line from the sounds of things, so I think we're going to be fine. Once in a while, when they decide that they want to...
changes the phone number, you're correct.
Yes, once in a while. Well, that's going to be Monday. So that was a Friday show. That's going to happen on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't think
Steve, let me ask you real quick. Out of all the regular guests or characters that come on the show, who's your favorite? Who's the one you like to have on? I mean, would you like to have Dennis on more often?
No.
Or is there anybody else?
I think the mailman.
Really?
Oh, Robert.
Yeah, Robert.
Is Robert still alive?
Well, he was brought up this last week,
Yes, he was.
briefly. So
Yeah.
I think that they've seen him at least within the last 4 years at some point. But I'm not sure that he was ever. There was something about, and I can't remember what was specifically said, but I think it was alluded to. They didn't quite have the same feeling about Robert now that they may have had when he was on the show. And it may have had to do with they were a little teed off about what happened with his teeth.
Right. Now, and that's the thing. And there's a further proof for it. You might not like a certain personality. I might not like a certain personality. But they're clearly radio value because these guys keep putting teeth and prosthetics and whatever else into or onto these
Hold
people.
on. This show is done for me. I don't know what you're talking about. TMOS is done for me specifically. Every day when I listen to it, I know that those three guys are speaking to me.
Right.
So you know what? When I say I don't want to have Tom Gavin on the show, I don't think Tom should be on the show. Because his show is for me. For me alone.
You realize you're about this far from becoming a regular character on the show too, right? Hey, can I ask you a question? Have you ever?
You don't know how much trouble I'm in.
I know.
Yeah, because this week, I might as well just get to it now. So next week, Labor Day holiday, Saturday is my birthday. So guess
Happy
what?
birthday.
I have sent off a letter to Rob because I have a birthday wish.
Yeah, I know.
For the Thursday show.
You've given me a little heads up on what you're hoping for.
And so I'm hoping it's going to be a really great impression from Mike. Now, it's going to be, because he's in Maine, it's going to be a long-distance dedication, but it should be quite entertaining if he does it. I'm looking forward to it. But to get back to it, you know, to get back to your comment about it being repetitive at times, there are things that become earwigs on the show. Many of them are the impressions, and I'll tell you right now, I love Herb Welch. It's my favorite impression right now. I could listen to Herb Welch all day.
Spoiler.
I'm not done listening to Herb Welch.
People who would like to be surprised Thursday, skip ahead 30 seconds.
Stop it. So for me, you know, that's an earwig right now.
Right.
You know, before that, I would have been the Metro. But that's because of the fact that, for me, I came from Chicago, and the Metro announcer sounds just like the L announcer.
I haven't been in a large city like that on any kind of metro, and I enjoy that impression as well because we've all heard it, we've all seen it in our travels or through television or movies. It's spot on. I enjoy the impressions and things like that as well. I mean, of course, I'm arguing from the perspective of I like the knuckleheads as part of it too. I enjoy all the constructs of the show. The point I'm making is they are going to mine the same particular shaft until it collapses.
I think
as long as it's working.
When you're dealing with the Tom Gavins of the world and the Dennis Murphys of the world, and these types of characters that get brought into that circle, you're talking about a 1.5 hour show from a podcast perspective versus the 5-hour radio show.
Well, I realize on a 5-hour show, they're incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
They're not so valuable on a 1-hour show. But I think we got what we needed out of that. I don't think he's going to be on a consistent, regular basis.
But if Tom had not been on the phone, we had enough material with just the Rob can't dial a phone, the misdial, the phone antics alone, trying to get people on the phone. Nobody's available. Always the phone is a disappointment, regardless, because whether you're attempting to try to call people and they don't answer the damn phone, they're not there, you get the busy tone, you misdial, whatever it is, the phone is always a problem. Then once you get a person on the phone, you never know what you're going to get or the quality of it. Let me ask you about Katie Cole. What did you think of Katie Cole and Todd Moore on the show this week on the phone?
Look, I enjoy hearing from various members of the show again. There's certainly always a place for Katie.
As far as I'm concerned, she should have the 4th seat.
Katie Cole, Katie Powers, bring them on.
Yeah, at least with a camera. Microphone or not, at least a camera. Hi, Katie.
Some people are breast men, some people are ass men. Marcus has been staring at the box of Krispy Kremes.
Stop it.
As soon as you do.
Yeah. All right. Are we done beating this dead horse?
I think so.
All right. Well, as far as the phones are
We
concerned,
wouldn't have had the phone content unless they decided to put in the phones and test them this week.
I understand. Do you like the
Dennis
phones?
had a lot more error than Tom, right?
That's true. Do you like the fact that the phones are there? Are you looking forward to them doing some real interviews or getting more interviews going?
Kind of. Because, again, it goes back to what you said. It's a 1-hour program.
Yeah.
I feel like there's, I heard it both on Friday's show and on the bonus show this week. They clearly got into subjects that they found interesting and they enjoyed, and they had to cut it short because they were running out of time.
Steve, how about you?
Yeah, I love the phones, but I can't help but wonder if Rob is sabotaging the phones because he hates the callers.
He is the caller's friend.
I like you're going with the conspiracy theory. That's good because I had that momentary thought, too, that maybe Rob could be effing with it just to make sure that it's something that Mike doesn't want to go to very
true.
often.
And either way, it's comedy gold.
But they've been working really hard. Mike acknowledged the fact that Oscar and Rob have been working really hard to get these things set up.
But Rob sometimes doesn't care about, the big picture. And if he doesn't like something, he doesn't like something. And if he wants to chime in and ruin something, he doesn't care if he ruins it. He just has to get that quip and that funny,
That is what I think is Rob's. That's what you rely on Rob for. You don't necessarily want to go down a straight line on a roadway. You want some guy to be throwing boulders in the middle of the road and you ducking and weaving through it. And that's Rob. That's Rob causing you to duck and weave through a conversation, but always in a very humorous and funny way. And I love that.
He's terrific. I really enjoy him. And I think that's part of the reason we got Tom, and that's part of the reason we got Dennis, is because Mike does it because he knows it kills him, and he knows the value he's going to get out of that reaction.
Because it's the ball busting.
It is
Mike's way of ball busting.
Rob. Is there anything that makes Mike laugh more than angry, pissed off, sullen Rob Spivak? And it makes me laugh, too. Like, you get the silence, and you can tell there's a look. Even if you're not on Ustream or YouTube, you can tell that there's just like a...
Oh, yeah.
Going across the studio, big bald head gleaming at them menacingly.
I absolutely agree, and Oscar was all over it too, and so it was definitely a pylon with Tom Gavin being the tool right in the middle of it.
I think they all got their fair share of material out of it.
Probably, absolutely.
And it wasn't like they made it half an hour of the show. It was, 15 minutes tops with all 3 calls?
Yeah. Well, maybe. It felt like an eternity.
Hey, don't forget, Mike invited him to call back again during the show after that.
I know. And probably with all the stuff that I've said right now, they'll never want to talk to me again because I'm dissing it. But
we might have been down that
let's
road
move on
already.
and let me do a little bit of ass kissing. This week, Mike had a momentous occasion by having his oldest daughter, Catherine, heading off to college and sent her off to college, which is a great thing. Wish my kids had done it, but we'll see if the second one can do it. Doubt it. He'll probably have a gun in hand. They'll probably put him in the desert somewhere. But
Jesus Christ! Wow!
Look, I love my children.
Clearly,
but they have taught me to become a realist. That's all I'm saying. But it was a really momentous occasion, and you could hear it in his voice when he was talking about it, that it was getting to him. And I can completely understand that. But let's talk about the fun things by listening to this clip as the boys talked about Pledge Week.
Was that actually the ritual?
I don't know. That was part of the ritual.
I mean, when you see the movie Animal House and you see Niedermeyer and also who's the other guy that ran that
He's
evil
a sneaky little ass, just like you.
Niedermeyer is the Vietnam guy.
Oh, and Greg Marmalade.
Greg Marmalade. And then Kevin Bacon is one of the guys. And they do the spanking in their underwear. It is not far away from reality. We would put on these giant goggles that blind us.
Yes.
and then we would strip down to our underwear, and we're like walking through all these rooms, and then the last part of the ritual would be they hit you in the chest, knock you back, and you're caught by the other guys.
Trust.
And that's when they write the Greek letters on your chest, and it's all done. And I smelled the smoke, and it was scary. And apparently they did this to one guy who freaked out. When he jumped up, it knocked the alcohol over the place, and he got like third-degree burns on his chest.
It was Tom Kieran.
It was Tom Kieran. It was Tom.
I don't remember any fire ritual, but I do remember what he had to do was I think it was on Franklin Street in Richmond. He had to strip naked, run, grab himself in a manly way and gesture rudely towards the competing fraternity, like make a
This had to be pledging.
Yeah,
This had to be
no, I
pledging.
think this was the ritual.
They all, and so if it was the ritual, that you'd have like 10 people
Do you
doing.
think he knows?
He doesn't know.
I was there.
He doesn't know.
I don't know.
You're watching?
He doesn't know.
Yeah, and you know what? Come to think of it, I'm not sure why I was there.
Steve, where'd you go to school?
For college or for?
Yeah, for college.
Nova Southeastern University.
Where is that?
In Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Jesus. Was there a lot of tail down there? Did you see
It
RJ?
wasn't bad. No.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
How about you? Where did you go to school, Jason?
Well,
University of Phoenix?
we started at the University of Vermont. Weren't quite mature enough for college. I was asked to leave politely after a couple of semesters, and transferred to Johnson. GPA went up dramatically because it's Johnson. But I
Because dicks get taught by dicks.
skipped a few classes. My parents decided to unenroll me at that point, and then when I finally had a little bit of life experience, a little bit of maturity, went back to Champlain here in Burlington.
Ooh, well, Champlain, nice school. Fantastic.
X-ray.
Well, I went to Illinois State University for a year and a half and drunk my way out and then ended up in the military.
You and me, brother.
Yeah, so from the aspect, looking at the three of us, I think that if we had joined fraternities, because I'm guessing that none of us have,
No.
But if we had, we'd all be tri-lambdas. You totally missed the reference, don't you?
I suppose I do.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Right.
See,
Yes. See, I've got you totally pegged as Booger.
Yes, I know
Can you
who-
vouch like him?
But look,
My name is not Curtis, my friend. My name is
but look at him. I can't remember what the guy's name is. But
give me a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Robert Carradine. I don't remember his character name, but Robert Carradine's the actor. It is.
Yes. Doesn't he look like him?
A little bit.
A little bit heftier, but yet kind of there. Can you see him like we've got Bush. Anyway, so you never tried out for a fraternity? No interest?
Because I watched Animal House in my teen years and kind of went, this is a little homoerotic.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Same with you, Steve?
Well, my school didn't have any.
Really?
No, it's a small law school and a psychology school, and it's not big enough for that.
Oh, so your parties suck.
No, there were pretty good parties in the dorms, but not.
Lawyers and psychiatrists?
Yeah.
You know how much drugs there were at those parties?
Right, exactly. You know, the psychiatrists are the most nuts of anyone.
Nothing but coke and hallucinogenics.
Nice. Sweet. I did not try out for a fraternity either for the same reason, because I had my life lessons all were taught to me by Animal House. And I was like, there is no way I am going through that.
You don't even want to be in Animal House.
No, because when I got to Illinois State...
You didn't want your guitar broken, did you?
No. But my real problem was when I went to Illinois State, it became really obvious, the cliques.
Yeah.
It was really clear. And the people who were in the fraternities were not the type of people that I wanted to hang out with.
Right.
And my first roommate in college decided to pledge for a fraternity. It was no shock to me because within 5 minutes of living with this guy, I already knew it wasn't going to work out.
Was his name Moondog?
No. You know what? I don't remember what his name is now because it's so long ago, and I had a lot of drinks between then and now. But I do remember that we didn't have a very good time in the same room together.
Which I find entertaining because memories of lots of drinks. You're wearing You're wearing right on the edge of a bowling shirt here. So,
Yes.
all things considered, you do strike a semi-frat brother kind of pose.
Well, at the time, I was half the man, literally, that I am today. And when I went to the college, I told myself that I really wanted to get involved in as many activities as possible. But the people who just went to the frats just put off this air and this attitude, and it really just wasn't attractive. So I avoided them like the total plague. And I didn't have anything to do with that. Plus, I threw better parties. Matter of fact, I threw one of the biggest parties that apparently, according to the officer who busted me at the university, said it was one of the largest parties he had ever busted. All 7 kegs of mine that I had to pour down the drain.
Oh, my God.
That was not... It was
painful, wasn't it?
It was... I cried. I literally cried.
Loss of beer, loss of money. Lots of parties, and not to mention the physical strain for a lazy guy.
The amount of beer and the amount of liquor that I had to literally pour down the drain, and I was crying while I was doing it. I mean, this is me, the alcoholic, like. Send me to jail instead. Whatever it would take, it was ridiculous because I was so at that time. I did what the boys talked about on this week's show, which was avoid people like me. Because I was the guy who got out of the house as quick as possible, had total freedom, and then decided to do everything I wasn't supposed to be doing. And screwed up my life, screwed up my college career, and so ended up in the military and changed my life forever. And honestly, it's one of those things I haven't gotten into great detail with my kids. Thankfully, they don't listen to this show. But it's one of those things that I've tried to hopefully teaching them as they have grown up that college is very important. And if you don't go to college, it can affect you in many ways, as I am finding out today.
I was going to say, as we sit here and discuss our distaste for the fraternity experience.
Yeah.
Now, I do very well for the level of education I have for an associate's degree, but I could be, like much of the country, much happier in my job than I am. You are unemployed.
I am.
Perhaps the networking of fraternities would have been good for us.
Well, it hasn't helped Mike much.
That is a big problem for me.
But that's because they remember him as smoke.
That is the big thing. That is probably the biggest hurdle that I am facing right now because of the fact that I'm unemployed, trying to get through the door. If it wasn't for the fact that I had built up a network over the years with the type of work that I've done, I would be in serious trouble to find anything beyond flipping burgers because so many HR people these days seem to stop a resume at the door if it doesn't have a diploma on the list or a degree on the list of some kind. They don't even want to talk to you. I went through the process of going through the government application at one time, and if I had said no to getting a degree, it would have automatically booted me. Yeah. And I was told by somebody on the inside that actually say yes, and then they'll figure it out later. But the thing
that's kind of gone disastrously lately for a lot of people.
Well, I didn't fill out the application, so I'm not worried about it. But still, you know, there are these automated programs now for a lot of, especially the larger companies. And so these computer programs are going down the list, looking at the resume and seeing no college education and going, boop, I'm kicking it out because the hiring manager wants somebody with a degree. And it's a mandatory thing, or it's required on the list.
Or the other fun trap you fall into, which is sure, you can move up in your field if you get a further education. But even if you get a further education, nobody's hiring without experience.
Yeah.
How do you get experience if no one will hire you because you have no experience?
I know. It's crazy. Well, listen,
I'm waiting for the boomers to die.
I know. We need to take a quick break. When we get back, I want to talk quickly a little bit of tech because we had some questions this week concerning Ustream and with Steve in-house. Want to get those questions answered and our significant food segment when we get right back here on OMearaCast.
Hey folks, it's your old buddy Rob Spiewak with a question. Do you miss the way radio used to be? Oh, it might take you a while to remember it, but there was a time when you actually used to listen to the radio for music. Well, thanks to more broadcasting, you still can, because each and every week I do the Rob Spiewak Show, 4 hours of boss radio that is fast, funny, and it is fun. Check it out, robradio.com, and don't forget the extra B. That stands for music. Rob Spiewak.
Welcome back to O'MearaCast, and let me see. I do have some music for this text segment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Thought it fit in perfectly. You know, it's a nice transition from the college discussion into tech, because welcome to Nerd Talk on O'MearaCast.
Geek Talk.
I'm sorry, Geek Talk. That's right. That's the new hip term. That's what all the cool kids are saying. Geek Talk. So we're here with Steve Merleman. Steve M. He works with Ustream, and a couple of questions came in this week. Mm-hmm. Steve, the question came in from Hugh, and he wanted to know specifically what type of router he should be using to optimize his Ustream experience. And I will go further than that and say, is there something on the box he should be looking for?
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
If it's not a brand, is there something that you should be looking for about the product?
Well, you cannot, if you have, if money's no object, you can't go wrong with the Apple routers, even if you are a Windows user. They are the most powerful. They have the best CPUs, and they're very fast. The second best would be Belkin, and you can pretty much go with any of the Belkins that are over like $60 and from any box store. And Costco always has a very good one that's inexpensive. But what you do want to look on for the box of the Belkin ones is that it says it supports HD video. And because that's going to have a higher CPU, like a faster CPU, and it's going to be able to keep up with all the data that's required for video.
So, okay, so the major concern here for optimized Ustream watching is that it has a good CPU for video, for HD video. Now, recently on Facebook, there was a large number of listeners, live listeners, who were saying, I'll be blunt, complaining that they have now had to make the change of utilizing and going to 240p.
Right.
And I mentioned this last week on the show. It was the fix that I had to find for myself. And all of a sudden, it was like one day it was working fine on high res. Now I'm down to 240p. And we talked last week. I made some changes and got it to work. But we got to talk again because I've had to do some other changes, which I think have screwed me up. But we'll talk about that after the show. But can you talk about what has gone on?
Yeah, well, what happens is, they're broadcasting at a very good high resolution as their default. It's HD, it's full HD resolution, and it's a very high frames per second, which means that it's very clear and crisp, and when they move around, there's no lag, so that's going to require a lot of speed in their router and then a high-speed internet connection. And if your router's not fast enough for the HD video, then unfortunately you have to degrade to the slower setting so that your router and your internet connection can keep up with it.
So basically, Steve is saying that it's all of our faults and it's not theirs. So let's find out. We've got somebody on the phone line right now from area code 410. Hi, who's this?
Hey, this is Brian Thomas. How are you guys?
Hey, Brian. It's good to talk to you. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing good. I just want to say that show's sounding great, and you didn't give me out your phone number. I mean, you gave me the phone number, but I won't call back. You might have to change the phone number. Just because we wouldn't want anybody to. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, you can call in anytime.
Just checking in.
And as I said earlier on the show, Tom can even call into my show if he wants to. I'll be happy to talk to him, but I still think...
I think you're asking for trouble.
There's that
this man is desperate for callers.
Do you think... I mean, I only caught the beginning of your show. I'm sorry. Do you think that was partial shtick, or do you think that was the real deal? Rob being real, how he gave out the number?
You know, I think personally that was a real mistake, and but at the same time, I think that Steve earlier in the show he has a conspiracy theory. He thinks Rob is sabotaging it.
I do. I really do.
I don't know. I'm not sure that
I enjoyed it. I don't know. I think it brought me back to the old Dynamite days when I heard Tom Gavin on there. I mean, I liked it a lot.
It's funny, but for me, it just wears thin real fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's
my thought.
I think what's good about Mike is he knows how to treat or use certain people to his advantage and just play them into the act. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. What do you think about Dennis Murphy? Do you prefer Tom or Dennis?
Oh, I'm going to say Tom.
Do you prefer? Okay.
What do you guys think?
This is going to be like the optometrist test. Okay, so you like Tom better. Tom or the mailman?
I'm going to say Tom again.
Tom or Cheryl?
The mailman got old to me after a while because he was annoying.
Yeah.
And after the whole, paying for his teeth and then he didn't even use them, I was just like, okay, well, that's not going to work.
Tell me about it. I've got a friend of mine. I wish she would use her teeth. Anyway,
Cheryl passed away, right?
Cheryl did pass away.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to disparage Cheryl. I'm just saying, if Cheryl were here, would you rather hear Cheryl than Tom?
I think most of us would rather hear Cheryl or Homo Joe because they could carry a segment. Gladys would be a fair comparison here.
All right, so Tom or Gladys?
God, I don't even remember Gladys.
Well, then
Gladys Kravitz.
Then we won't rely on you we won't go to you for an answer on that. But I appreciate your feedback.
I'm sorry,
on it.
I'm the young guy. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Five Guys Burger still should be number one, or Fuddruckers should be on
Definitely.
List.
Oh, Fuddruckers wasn't even on the list. We're going to get to.
I didn't hear it anyway, but I just got to say, when you make your own burger, come on. That cheese dip. Got to use it every time.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. But Brian, thanks for giving a call in, pal.
Take care, guys.
All right. So, anyway,
by the way,
another Tom lover. What's up with these people?
Talk about the most vomit-inducing vision exam ever. Just flipping over little pieces of glass to see any of those faces. Click, click. What's better? One with no teeth? Two with a spinning cane on his head.
Let's get back to tech. All right. I'm sorry. I really do appreciate that Brian called in, but let's get back to a little bit of tech here. And so, as far as this overall problem and that people are facing and having to change to 240p, you guys had some internal changes going on, upgrades. On the system,
Ustream really did not. The guys changed their broadcast rate, so they're going at a really high resolution, high frames per second, so that it's a flawless video, and so it requires more robust internet connection and router.
Did you hear him just pass the buck off to Mike and say that it was Mike O'Meara's fault?
No.
I'm actually the anti-Oscar.
Mike wouldn't know how to
shutting
change
down right now. I'm like, wait a minute, technology? I'm just going to play with my iPhone. You guys let me know.
No problem. We'll call you when we're talking about femurs. So really, as far as
Charlie did it.
So as far as the guys are concerned, because I know that you had a conversation with them,
Oscar,
3-4 weeks ago to help fix a problem.
Yeah, someone played with it since. I don't know who changed it again.
And so you're saying that they've upped their video quality, which has put higher demands on us,
right?
And it's causing more problems on the user end,
right?
Smells like sand.
Unfortunately,
Steve, don't you have Oscar's number? Can't you make a call?
I do. I've emailed him twice, but I haven't heard back.
Don't you have Oscar's number? Didn't it take you a long time to run him down on the phone?
Maybe we should just call him right now. Maybe we should do that. No, I won't do that.
Oh, look, somebody's pulling out their package. Hi, I'm Marcus Serta.
Well, let me
go through my phone menu.
Well, it's kind of good to know, though, that it's nice that TMOS is doing their best to improve the quality of the video and, therefore the show. But at the same time, also knowing that we're not a bunch of crazy people out here. It's not our fault necessarily.
Well, Sam, the other way around. I've got the high-speed internet. I've got the Belkin I've got a pretty good Belkin router.
Yeah.
I have 10-year-old laptops.
Yeah,
so,
that's not going to help you.
No.
No, I'm hoping to get a new one soon, but at this point, streaming video for me is an
Gas
Xbox
in the car
kind of
first.
Xbox, Roku.
Then go for the laptop.
Right.
Priorities, man.
Right.
Priorities.
That's the other thing I forgot about is the computer itself, the CPU. When you're running flash video, you're going to need a pretty, modern processor, and if you have a lot of other programs open, like an antivirus especially, that's going to slow everything down, and that could be affecting your video playback as well.
When are they going to get to the point when they don't have to keep messing with this? I mean, TMOS messes with it, it changes it for people.
Right.
Ustream changes it, it messes with people.
Well,
I change my own equipment, it messes with myself. I'm just saying, can't we get to a point where there's a universal plug-in and boom, it
No.
just works
It
the
all
same way
works.
for everybody?
No. Have you not been at first?
Have you used Facebook lately?
We've just dedicated 10 minutes to technology. Have you not paid attention to technology for the past 20 years?
I'm just
Every
asking
6
the
months,
question
you're
if we
out
get
of date.
I understand that, and I was just asking the question: can we get beyond that and get to the point where we're just plug and play? Can't we just Googleize it? And
There's a
just be
reason.
Google friendly on everything.
There's a reason I have 10-year-old laptops, because I really don't want to go drop the $300 to $700 for the features I really want.
You
So I
don't
know that
need
in a
to.
year or two,
Your porn
it's
sites
gonna
have
be
not
past-
improved in the last 10 years. You're going to the same one year over year, day after day, night after night, all by himself. Ooh, yuck. Anyway, let's move on from technology segment. If you do have questions, Steve, about Ustream, how can they contact you?
The best way is by email at chatadmin@ustream.tv.
And if they are Twitter fans, which most people aren't, how can they get you on Twitter?
It's USRBINGEEK, User Bin Geek.
Fantastic. That was really easy to spell. You found the smoothest, easiest name possible. But, Steve, appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's move on to talk about a segment that we know very well as three very large men. Let's talk about some food, because this week, and Brian alluded to it, they had a top 10 of fast food joints.
This is a strange list. I don't know why we had White Castle at 9, Jack in the Box at 9, Dairy Queen at 8, and then there are two tied at 6.
What is?
Sonic. Which we're familiar with.
Nice tots.
Yeah,
Oh, great tots.
I think Sonic has great brand recognition, and they have a great reputation. I'm not sure when I drive into a Sonic if I think it's all that.
And you know what?
When I get there.
Great sodas. Don't they have all kinds of great flavors? And we got to move, Mike. I just looked at the clock.
Oh, my God. Okay, number 6, Crystal. Crystal
tied.
tied. Number
That's
5,
West Coast, right?
one of my favorites,
South
Steak and
as
Shake.
well.
Number 4, Culver's. Number 3, Whataburger. Ever been?
West. Yes, I have. Love great
Good.
burgers. Great burgers.
Number 2, your man.
Five Guys?
Five Guys,
Yes.
number 2.
Wow.
And, ladies and gentlemen, the number 1, In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, yeah. In-N-Out Burger.
What's the secret sauce at In-N-Out Burger?
Now, Steve, you've been around because you've been out
I've
of
been
the
to all of
state.
them.
Jason has not been around.
Like
He's
to
had to
this
pay.
camera.
He's had to pay for it. But tell me, what is your favorite fast food joint?
Five Guys.
It is Five
Yeah.
Guys. So you're with Rob.
Yep.
You know, the only thing about Five Guys that I love the most, they do great fries. Their burgers okay. I think they're far too expensive for a burger.
Really?
But it's the Coke machine.
Yeah.
Because they've got the fancy Coke machine that gives you Coke in about
they here
150
now?
different flavors.
except for ours.
Here? Yeah, I was going to say, the one here is just a fountain.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, see,
I don't think there's any of the Coke remix machines anywhere near this part of the country. I don't think they
Actually,
get north of
I'll tell
Boston.
you where there is one here, because I haven't gone to the Five Guys here. I go to a different Five Guys.
Moe's.
The Moe's has one.
Moe's has one.
You can go
Right
over to
here.
Moe's. Yep. So if you want a burrito, go
I
over
may
to
have
Moe's.
post-show plans.
Welcome to Moe's. They've got one of those machines, and it's heaven on earth. It really is.
I've been looking. I am a Coke guy.
Yeah, and I mean, literally, it is 150 different flavors. I sound like Oscar Santana, right? Literally, it's 150 flavors of Coke. It's fantastic. It's the most amazing thing since Apple, Google, and peanut butter. It's unbelievable.
It's fun to be the guy in line that just gets the Diet Coke.
Yeah. Why bother? Why bother?
See, my only complaint about Five Guys is there's no milkshakes.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I don't order milkshakes.
I like the Five Guys burger. I get where you're coming from because you're looking at $6-7
Yeah.
for a sandwich.
It's a very expensive burger.
I like the variety of options and topping. Like, see, I would compare them locally to the folks right next door here, Al's.
Oh,
I would rather have. Hey, I'd rather have Al's fries than Five Guys. You're totally off the mark.
Oh, no. If we're talking about French fries, I can. Yes and no.
I think the key
50-50.
to I think the key to Five Guys, there's no question. You have to dump the fries out of the cup into the bag when you get it,
right?
Because that cup is going to kill them. They're just going to turn into a ball of mush. And even then, I just find them mostly to be. They were talking about Burger King fries and how Burger King can't get it. I'd rather have Burger King fries than Five Guys fries. The only time
Burger King fries are the worst fries on the planet.
The only Five Guys fries I'll do are the Cajun.
Yeah.
And that's for some flavor because I think they're bland. I think they're
the
bland.
secret to getting good fries at Five Guys is asking for it extra crispy.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But.
So you got to get them like Todd Moore.
Right.
And if you get Todd Moore fries, then they're going to be perfect. But, again, when I talk about value, because I would agree that Five Guys makes a pretty good burger. But Brian brought it up, and it was not one that I had thought of before. And I don't typically think of as fast food. It's Fuddruckers. Because if I'm going to pay that kind of money, you get a substantial burger that you can kind of build yourself, and it's pretty darn good. But from a fast food standpoint, when you're just walking up to a counter, you're ordering and you're leaving, I got to agree, number one for me would have to be the In-N-Out burger.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It is a good one. It's my number 2.
Yeah, and you can't get one here in Vermont because there is none.
No. You know who else I like out there? Carl's Jr.
Why?
I like a Carl's. I thought there were some pretty good burgers on their menu when I was out there.
Have you ever gotten anything off a hidden menu?
No.
Have you ever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In-N-Out has a good one. The animal fries and.
Describe the animal fries.
It's cheese and chili on top.
That's an animal fry?
Yeah.
Or the rest of the country calls it chili cheese fries.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, but it's not on the menu, though.
I'm expecting something totally exotic.
I mean, I went to the McDonald's secret menu website that they have. And what a rip that is.
Yeah, that one's ridiculous.
Garbage. That is, buy 2 things, throw away the bun from one, and put them together. I'm starting to sound like you. I think your food love's starting to hit me. You put them together. It's like, this is. I can't remember what they call it. There's one that's horrible, like the McGangbang or something like that, where it's like, I kid you not. And it's really like as dumb as getting like the McDouble and the McChicken, and then just taking the bun off the McChicken and sticking it in the middle of the McDouble. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to McDonald's because I'm too lazy to put crap together. I can make a sandwich at home.
That's ridiculous. I haven't bought anything off the hidden menus. I keep getting told that to do it
You're not a member.
After I've already been there. Because most of the places, I don't even think about McDonald's having a hidden menu.
They don't.
Nor do I care. Because honestly, I don't. McDonald's isn't my go-to place.
You know what the big secret was? One of my friends was complaining the other day on Facebook. He's like, they need to bring back the McDLT. He's like, that was a great sandwich with the cold side and the hot side. I'm like, you're not going to get the separate container, but they'll make the sandwich. But when I worked there in the 90s, they were still making them 10 years after they were off the market. You just had to ask for it.
If you want that kind of burger, go to Burger King. Go to Five Guys. Go to plenty of other burger joints. Do not go to McDonald's for fresh tomato and lettuce.
Absolutely, they're terrible.
If you want wilted lettuce and old tomatoes on your burger, on your tiny, thin little burger, go to McDonald's.
They're terrible. Most days I'd rather just get a 6-pack because there's not one anywhere near here. I'd rather get a 6-pack of the frozen sliders from White Castle than even bother to go out to the McDonald's.
By the way, in my drawer here.
Some people have porn drawers.
I'm looking.
This is Marcus's porn drawer. It's just going to have different content than most people expect.
I was really surprised.
My drawer is full right now because, anyway, I won't even describe why it's full. I have a coupon for White Castle for a Crave box.
Right. That's like 20 or something. 50
sliders.
50 still acceptable.
I think I could sit down and finish a box.
I'm sure you could.
What are you going to feel like after?
I don't care.
I could
I'll
too.
feel like hell, but I won't care because I actually like the sliders, but I will have the runs for days.
You don't need a bottle of Pepsi.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Go with no onion. That's probably going to be your best plan there.
Right.
But like for me, could I probably get a good portion of the way through that? Sure. My problem is, as we've discussed before, and you've enjoyed mocking, I have gout. So if I eat 50 of those goddamn things, I'm not going to have thumbs. I'm going to have dew claws.
By the way, Steve.
I've had gout too.
Ah! Yes! Your day is coming, fat boy.
Welcome to 1776. I'm here with Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. What the hell? How can you people have gout?
You're not here with Ben Franklin.
Welcome
Thomas
to the
Jefferson.
modern age. By the way, have an orange and avoid scurvy.
No.
I haven't had scurvy.
I used to love having mushrooms on everything, and that's what good. That's
Eating
what good.
rich.
Yeah.
Too many mushrooms?
Yeah. Very high in
Root
greens
vegetables, purine. Purine does it. Beer, alcohol, animal protein, especially high content animal protein, pork.
Would you like a
stuff
gun
like that.
now? You want to just give up on life now?
I know.
I mean, honestly.
But you know what? Honestly, it's probably the one thing that's going to keep me alive at this point, to be fair. Because if I didn't have that check and balance, I'd probably be more likely to eat really horrible crap for myself. And now there's literally an honest-to-God, almost immediate pain consideration that comes into it where I have to factor, is it worth one moment of semi-satisfaction in terms of flavor to have 5 days of pain, arthritic pain as a result of it? It's not most of the time. Like, you pick and choose what you can eat, and you pre-plan your diet, but what you want to avoid is eating crap.
I understand. We've talked about this before, and even from the gluten discussion, for me, I know when I have overdosed on gluten because I am groggy for a couple of days. It affects me that way. But I'm still going to go grab a burger when I get done with this show, and I don't care.
By the way, you're not doing the show with Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. You're doing the show with two versions of the Ghost of Christmas Future. I'm going to go grab another burger, and then eventually I'm going to have arthritic joints, and I'm going to be like, all right, I get it.
And it's a very common thing, like almost every chef has had it at least one point in their career, from just tasting all the dishes they're preparing.
All right, I'm going to talk to my chef friends and see how many of them have gout.
I don't know that I'm going to back that statement up. They've got ads for the medication on television. If it wasn't relatively common, they wouldn't bother to spend the money.
Which medication is that?
Uloric has had plenty of TV.
I've been overdosed with Viagra commercials.
Uloric was the ad with the guy wandering around the city carrying the big beaker of green fluid.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, remember that commercial?
Yeah.
So that was everywhere for a while. I'm on Uloric, and you know what? It's doing a lot for me. It's really helping.
Yeah, I can see. It's really helping you.
Gout isn't
down.
causing me to pack on weight. All I'm saying is I can do things like move. I can move my thumb when I need to. I don't have to worry about limping around at work. It's.
You can move your thumb. So you get to the point where you actually can't move your joints. I'm learning a lot right now.
It's like arthritis.
That's the profile of my left hand.
Okay.
That's the profile of my right hand. Do you notice the difference in the thumb joint?
Oh yeah.
See how straight that is, and see that bulb?
Yeah.
That's because I've lost that range. I don't have that range of motion in that thumb anymore. It's
gotta
permanent
suck
arthritic
when you're
change.
doing shadow puppets.
Well, it's like being an old man. I have an arthritic joint now. It does not shape. It's not shaped the same.
So eventually, you're going to be like Dennis. You're going to have. All right, let's move.
As far as I know, it doesn't affect the tongue.
Let's to carry on the debate just a little bit further. Mike, I thought, made a bit of a statement that I thought was, well, anyway, you hear Mike.
Who went? It was the four of us. It was just the fam.
Yeah, one lane, and it was.
Did you eat at the bowling alley?
We did not.
Oh, bowling alley food's the best.
I know, but they seated us too far away from the snack bar, and we were up against the clock.
Bowling alley food is the best.
Does the Palms have a bowling alley?
No, you know what it is?
What bowling alley is this?
That is a man. Look, okay. Did we not just finish the last time I was on the show critiquing his ice cream selection?
That is true.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This is a man who enjoys his fried food, and nobody has a wider selection of fried food than a bowling alley. A bowling alley menu is always chicken tenders, burgers, fries, usually cheese sticks, all the crap you can imagine. Like stuff that would leave me unable to bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because of your gout.
Because of my gout between my hand and my feet, unable to bowl. I'm the guy who now goes to the bowling alley, has a beer, and that's it.
Wow. You're a very entertaining guy to hang out with. Let's talk about, let's move on and talk about what came up in the bonus show this week. A little discussion about hot sauce.
It is Sriracha hot chili sauce.
May I taste it? I mean, just like put it on my hand.
What is the delivery system?
You would put some on my hand.
All right, bring your hand over here.
Yeah, but then your hand would go on the board.
No, I'll lick it off. Just
and you bring your hand over here, and I will put just a little in your hand so you can taste it.
In my palm.
All right, here we go.
Nah.
Oh, I got to open it up first.
Oh, come on. Don't blow this now.
No, I'm not.
Be nice.
I'm just going to
make a mess. Don't make a mess.
Just a dollar.
Oh, there you go. Oh, my God. You got to eat that now.
And for my next impression...
Bonnie, look at how much I put in his hand.
You got to eat it.
For my next impression, Jesus Christ.
There. Now, hey, you know what? Do you want to do this? Have you tasted it yet?
Yeah, you know it's got? It's got celery in it.
Why don't you put a big dollop on your tongue?
Why don't you go yourself? Oh, wow.
Thank you.
That's good, though.
Isn't it tasty?
Yeah, it's really good.
It's
you know what that would make? That would make killer cocktail sauce.
Sriracha.
What are you doing? Look at this mess you made.
Is made
How
from
dare you?
sun-ripened chilies. Is ready to use in soups, sauces, pasta, pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers, chow mein.
I need 2 more paper towels.
Or on anything. Is your hand burning yet?
No, it doesn't. No, don't burn my hand.
To add a delicious spicy
Probably won't be off this afternoon, though.
That is so nasty.
All right, Sriracha hot sauce. It is the best condiment. I think that everyone should be required to have it on hand at all times because it is the most versatile hot sauce known to man. Steve, you love it.
I have a bottle on my kitchen table.
You've never tried it,
I have
Jason?
never tried it.
All right. So I do have some Sriracha. You've got it there next to you. And by the way, I have to actually concentrate now and remember that it's pronounced Sriracha because Mike hacked it so badly.
Yes, yes, he did.
The
Even I
Sriracha
knew
hot
that.
sauce is there. You have some crackers. If you don't mind, go ahead and put some Sriracha on there because I want you to try it. Tell me what you think. And while you do that, I'm going to answer the phone because we have somebody on the line right now.
First we have to do this.
What? Yeah, you got to remember.
Yeah, it's going to be a little more on mic, doesn't it?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, this is a new microphone.
We want to use our sound effects when we have them.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're gonna go to the phone lines right now. Area code 703. Hi, who's this?
Is it me?
It is you.
Hi, it's Rob. I just wanted to say hi to Marcus and to Jason
Hey, Rob.
and to Steve and to say
Hi, Rob.
the O'MearaCast lines are open. Please call.
Thank you, Rob.
646-716-5370.
The American prairies are more crowded.
I have to run. Have a great day.
Rob, thank you for opening up the phone lines. He is a good man, and I'm so sad that he had so many troubles with the phone line this week. But it was so goddamn funny.
Do you think that was his instructional concept for Tom? Hi, joke, goodbye, click. No, actually, we didn't even get a goodbye, click.
That was nice.
We're like, hey, Rob, and click.
It's all right.
Some things never change.
It's lots of love. Lots of love from TMOS to me. It was funny. You got the Sriracha on there yet? Come on, I really want you to try it.
Just want to make sure it's...
And I've even given you control of the bottle so that you don't have to go through what Rob went through when Mike poured it on his hand.
Here's how you can tell Marcus loves me. He didn't make me eat it. I offered to eat it out of my palm today just to stay on track. And he's like, no.
Get
we'll
a saltine.
some saltines.
Get some saltines, yeah. And everybody's going to love to hear you chew this. Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, it's got some nice kick. That is a pretty effing tasty hot sauce.
Isn't it?
It is very
It
good.
is
has a lot
super
of-
universal. You can actually put it, I think, on anything. In a soup, on a sandwich, on a burger. I mean, honestly, go get your fast food, bring it home, put the Sriracha on your burger. It'll be 100 times better.
Let's do it justice for a moment, shall we? As someone who's just had it. Because you guys are talking about its utility and its ability. What we're not discussing is it's a complex flavor. There's a lot there. There's a lot of flavor notes, and so it works well. It's not just... Usually when I think of hot sauce, I'm thinking of one particular set of flavors, and it's a very straight-ahead approach. Regardless of brand, there's a little bit of, adjustment, but there's a lot in this. There's a lot of different flavor, and it's... You're right. It works as its own... Like, how Oscar was euthanizing... euthanizing? Yeah, that's the right word. Euthanizing about... eulogizing about
yes
how he was eulogizing about the spread at what burger joint was it? It wasn't Five Guys, was it?
He was
help me out here, eater.
You mean the
spread?
Whataburger.
Was it Whataburger? Was that?
Well, that was they were talking about it. That clip that we were listening to before. He agreed that he's been to Whataburger and he loves it.
It was one where he was saying he would just take the spread home and eat the spread and nothing else. But anyhow,
I don't remember which one that was.
Oh, I think that was In-N-Out.
Might have been In-N-Out. He said it's called
sauce,
the spread.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Okay.
Anyhow, I would say similar stuff about this. That's the kind of thing you could sit there and eat on a plain cracker, and that's a pretty flavor. That's not boring.
That's why it's always in the house. Now, you want to get into like the long discussion about hot sauces. We won't do it here, but there are some really fantastic hot sauces out there to try, but this one is beyond a shadow of a doubt the one that I tell everybody to pick up, put in their refrigerator, put it on their shelf, because you can put it on anything and use it in any way, and it does not change the flavor necessarily of what you're eating. It will add the heat and add a little bit more. So forget the salt and pepper, just add some sriracha and it'll add what you need. It's awesome stuff. Now, you also have another hot sauce there, because I wanted you to try something else.
Yes, this would be Trinidad Charlie.
Even though you're having an Oscar gut moment today.
Oscar gut moment?
Well,
What's an Oscar gut moment?
Your gut isn't in the greatest of shape, just like Oscar's. It's not as bad as Rob's gut.
I wish I had Oscar's gut. No, I'm pretty sure it's worse than Rob's gut. I'm sitting up straight.
There's a six-pack in there somewhere underneath the 5
that's a
kegs.
keg. That's a keg, yeah.
So what you've got there is Trinidad Charlie's,
There appears to be a touch of buildup on this bottle.
It's a new bottle. I just opened it.
I didn't put that there.
Quit talking about it. Just eat it. This is Trinidad Charlie's, and this is their lime hot sauce. Now, this one will probably have a little less kick, but more sour.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of this?
It's not bad. I definitely prefer the sriracha.
Yeah. And see, to me, again, the reason that I wanted you to try that was not because of the fact that I want to say, oh, Trinidad Charlie's is better. I think it's a good hot sauce, but it's not as utilitarian as that sriracha.
It's still hot sauce.
Yeah, absolutely.
I realize that there's a large cultural segment of the country that is huge into hot sauce, and it is a on everything kind of condiment.
Yeah.
But they're missing out if they're not trying this.
One of TMOS's P1 fans runs a blog called Hot Sauce Daily, and he does a daily blog about hot sauces that's really good, and he really talks about them in great detail.
Are you telling me TMOS fans like food?
Yes. As a matter of fact, it's a good thing that there is no weight requirement to be a fan of that show.
We all make it.
Because the fan base would be much smaller. Steve, what is your favorite thing to put sriracha on?
Chicken wings.
Really?
Yeah, I love it on chicken wings.
So
I make my own buffalo wing sauce, and I 86 to Frank's, and I use sriracha instead.
Oh, okay. So so it's not as though you're getting the wings with the sauce and then you're adding this on top. You're actually making your own with it.
Right. Butter and sriracha and a little bit of honey.
Well, we'll have to get that recipe and put it up on the OMearaCast website. If I had one. We'll have to tweet that out, because that's where the fan base is. It's all on Twitter.
You realize, of course, one of the major ingredients of this was the same stuff they were talking about this week with asparagus.
Yeah.
It's got sulfite in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So have some more, have a pee, and enjoy. Enjoy the aroma.
By the way, to add to that, as a healthcare professional, I hadn't had any asparagus in quite some time. Like, I'd had some in a restaurant here and there, but not in like a concentrated volume. And I happened to have some at lunch the day, and I've told you about this patient before, the guy with the dead toe and the foot out.
Yeah.
So and the odor is similar. So there's a moment. Wait, no. Here's the thing. There's a moment like an hour later when you're avoiding your bladder, where you have a moment of sheer and utter terror, where you're like, did I somehow ingest something after that exam? Have I got foot rot inside me? What's going on? Now,
wow.
You have sulfur components.
That's gross.
Yeah, that's my job.
I am going to have a hard time. I love asparagus. Now I'm going to have a hard time with it.
Oh, asparagus still tastes great. It's just the sulfur notes in the urine is not exactly thrilling.
All right. You know what? We got another phone call. Let's go back to the phone line. This is going to be trouble.
It's going to be Rob calling back.
Well, we'll see. Area code 608. Hi, who's this?
Hey, this is Dave Page calling.
Hey, Dave. How are you, sir?
How are you this afternoon, Marcus? I'm doing fantastic. I had to give you a tip in. Sriracha hot sauce is dynamite on anything with eggs in it, especially breakfast omelet.
Oh, I would absolutely agree.
Beat it.
As a matter of fact, I've actually, even when I prefer getting omelets with chorizo because I like hot and spicy things, but I'll still put sriracha in there and kick it up an extra notch. It really is fantastic. I agree.
Right. Sunday morning hangover remedy, sriracha hot sauce on an omelet and a Bloody Mary.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
And I hear it's very good in a Bloody Mary.
You know what? I've heard that.
I've never tried it directly in a Bloody Mary. Never tried it directly in a Bloody Mary, but, it is dynamite on just about anything you put it on.
A chef friend of mine locally actually does a Bloody Mary mix himself where he uses sriracha as the heat component. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's really quite delicious, and I'm not a big fan of Bloody Marys because I'm not a big fan of tomato juice, but I like it because it has a really solid kick.
I like tomato juice, but I'm not a fan of Bloody Marys.
Huh.
I like horseradish.
Yeah, it opens up the sinuses.
Yeah, well, that's what you need that next morning. You need a good kick in the pants to get you going. Otherwise, it's going to be a lazy day in a dark room.
All right, Marcus. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem. Thanks for giving a call in. I appreciate it. Look at these phone lines. Bye. These phone lines are hot today.
Hey.
They're kicking.
All you need is one Rob Spiewak declaring them open. I guess we know what he's going to be doing weekly from now on.
One can only hope. Wouldn't that be great? We'll get Rob on weekly.
He's backed himself into your Tom Gavin.
Stop it. He's far better than that. Oh, my God. I would never put him in the same category as that.
He's a much more welcome caller.
Absolutely. Kind of like Dennis. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Just joking.
You are never getting that call again.
I know.
That window just slammed closed and got nailed shut.
I know. If I ever see him at King's Dominion, I'm never getting that turkey leg now. Let's take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about, I got a couple other topics, one related to food, and I've got, one related to you being fat. Okay, when we get back right here on O'MearaCast.
Do you talk C++? Do I? Can you telnet into port 25 and fake an email? Can I? Do you like to surf the backplane of a router? Yes, I do. Have you ever hex-edited your way to a registered version? Sounds sexy. We're not going to be talking about any of those things, but what will we be talking about, Oscar? Is technology and the way it affects your life. And we're going to be combining a lot of entertainment. It's going to be a good time. This is not your father's tech show. Tech 411 show, available on the More Broadcasting Network and on iTunes. That means it's good, so please check it out. Or don't.
Welcome back to O'MearaCast. I'm here with Jason Cody and Steve M. And we've got...
We've
been running a little bit long, so we're going to try to get through this last bit.
By the way, you got to spell my name right on the show notes. At least do that.
Spell it right? You can't say it.
I did make that spelling error, and then I realized after I sent it out and was like, I can't retrieve any of it. Oh, well. He's now MURML something. I don't know. Anyway.
You tried to phonetically spell it and you still failed.
I know. Exactly. All right. We just got done talking about food, and I know that, for us, each and every day, it's a struggle because we keep pounding it in our face and packing the pounds on our bodies.
Apparently, some of us eat with a tad more energy than others.
But I've got a question, and it relates to this clip.
Let me see. Neil Patrick Harris is part of a movement in show business, and this is also the guy that's on How I Met Your Mother, that other show.
Right.
And if you look at GQ now, I would defy you to go into the pages of GQ magazine, even if you are, and I'm not even going to say thin, a really skinny guy,
right,
and tell me that you're going to put those clothes on that they're wearing in GQ now. Skinny is gone. Remember the big movement where all these feminist groups were up in arms about the fact that the standard of appearance for young girls in this country was so ridiculous and it was causing an eating disorder movement out there. Well, that has happened in the world of men, and nobody talks about this. Go to an Academy Awards. Go to the Emmys. Look at these weights that are on stage.
Was it GQ that had Bryan Cranston on the cover last month?
I believe so, yes.
And really, he looks like his head is not able to be supported by his body anymore. And I know he might lose a lot of weight because he's supposed to be a cancer-suffering meth head.
So do you feel society's pressure on you to be thin, that it's causing you so much stress that you've just become fat?
I've started stress eating.
That's right.
First of all, point of clarification. He's not a meth head. He's a cancer patient on that show. He only cooks.
Regardless, the thing about it is, and that I found funny from what Mike said, is that guys are having this issue looking at these types of magazines, and there might actually be some sort of movement or some sort of psychological pressure on guys. I don't know. I was unaware. It seems hidden.
On shallow guys, maybe, and guys like Oscar, who we listen to talk about his weight for quite a bit of time.
So those of us who are a bit older and have given up on life? Steve, you're a young guy. You've already given up.
I'm trying to lose weight, actually. I went up a size, and that was a reality call.
I can totally understand.
I went up a size. Pull up your skirt.
No, I can no longer shop at the regular people store.
I get out of breath and take a deep breath, and I go up a size. Give me a break.
When the tag doesn't have room for the X's anymore, you know that you need to lose weight.
When you walk into a store and they say, we can't help you. You know, that was the wake-up call.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is when you walk into the fat man store and you start to realize you're running out of options. When you're in a big and tall and you're like, well, I guess it's time to deal with this.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, have you ever felt pressure from society, or do you know anybody that acts that way? You bring up Oscar, which is interesting, because he's the only guy that I know that would probably look at what's going on around him and think, oh, I need to be like that.
Well, there are guys who do it, I'm sure. In Hollywood, I think it is a dysmorphic body issue. I don't know that it's so much that every Hollywood actor is going, oh my God, I'm so fat, I need to diet. I think it's more along the lines of they look bigger on camera. Everybody wants to see the skinny cut guy, not the fat guy on camera. And so there's pressure that if you want to keep working, you got to play to the
Are you telling me that
camera.
Paul Blart was not hot?
But you and I might have different definitions of that. You know where I feel pressure is as a guy my age who's single, walking around seeing very attractive young women. I keep going, I need to lose weight and get into this game. I would like to experience that. And I think I could help myself out with some... Just like you, just the same way you clean out the car and buff it up before you trade it in.
I'd like to experience it without rolling over and killing it.
Well, that's not going to happen, is it?
No, not at this
She
point.
is smart enough not to put herself in that situation.
Steve, what are you doing in order to lose the weight?
Just changing my eating habits and trying to walk around more and exercise. And, if you don't exercise, it's not going to work.
Yep.
Yeah, what are you doing about it, Jason?
Well, I've got to get back onto the program I had success with a couple of years ago, and I've just been too lazy to do it. I know what I need to do. I'm eating better, but I need to start doing aerobic work on a daily basis and actually start taking some weight. At my peak, I was having the program I was using, and it wasn't like a big paid program. It was a book I bought that taught you how to eat a smarter diet and how to exercise, I was having weight not type results. I was losing a pound a day.
Well, answer this question that Mike had this week for Rob.
Why not a design?
When was the last time you actually ran anywhere? Ran. Picked him up and put him down in a running way. Oh, well, if you need to think, we'll take some time here.
When was the last time you actually ran?
I've hustled, which is sort of in a jogging sort of sphere of running, not really like pell-mell.
That's like a fast shuffle?
Yes, if I was wearing cords, it would have started a fire. No, it's my last probably full-out run was probably a couple years ago when I had taken off 60 pounds. And the knees felt great, and I was capable of just barreling down the hallway like during a portable, code or something like that. Just it was no problem to run. Because look, for those of you who aren't fat and who haven't experienced dramatic weight loss, when you take off that amount of weight, the energy level rises dramatically. Because if you want to have our experience of life as fat people, go carry around a backpack full of 60 pounds of crap. And then take it off at the end of the day.
Rob says it best. It's pounds of sugar. Bags of sugar. Add on another 60 bag or 10 bags of sugar. 60 or 50 pounds. What is it? 50 pounds. Add that to your body and then walk around town and see how you feel about it.
Right.
Because that's how I feel
every day, nonstop, and not having the ability to put it down.
Yeah.
Do that for a couple weeks and then set it down and see how you feel that next week. It does make a dramatic difference in how your joints wear, how your body works. Even the way you carry your body. Not for nothing, I've lost probably a half inch to an inch of height. And that happens with aging, but, the fatter you are, the more you're going to compress the vertebral discs in your back, and the closer you're being pulled to the earth by
Jesus, I wasn't even thinking about my vertebral discs.
They say that most people on average through the course of a day lose a quarter to a half inch through the course of a day, and you hopefully regain it at night when you hydrate while sleeping. But standing upright, look, they're like...
I'm sorry, we're talking to Dr. Cody now.
They're like gel pads, so as you're standing, you're putting pressure on them, and they spread. They don't hold up, they spread out to the sides, so you lose a little bit of height throughout the day.
I've learned something new from Dr. Oz today. But I think it comes down to finding the right thing.
Stigmata, but...
You got to find the right thing that works for you. Yeah. Will Johnson, who's been on the show a number of times, used Weight Not very successfully. We've seen that Mike is using it successfully right now. Rob has used it successfully. That's an option for a lot of people. It's not for some people, but I think it's a pretty darn good option, especially for a guy at my weight.
Right.
And I'm, no offense, Jason, not quite there yet.
No.
Where you are, but I am mentally. For me, if I'm not losing it fast enough, I lose interest.
Well,
and I think that's the thing for me, and I think that's why a program like Weight Not for me works so well, because if I'm on it and I'm doing it, then I can actually lose the weight, I can lose it fast, and I get myself involved because I can see it coming off. It's when I'm losing 1 pound a week, and they go, "This is the healthy way to lose weight."
Yeah, this is bullshit.
So I'm going to lose my 100 pounds over the next 50 years. That's great. I can't wait. I'm going to look great when I'm 90. What do I want to wait for?
You're better off trying to gain height.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough, and the quick reaction's good. The plus side is, see, when you get up into my weight class, which is, I believe is known as aircraft carrier, I believe that's the technical term, you're so out of whack. Your body is so just miswired with how you eat and process and everything else. That kind of result is easy. The pounds come right off. I lost 60 pounds over 6 months. I lost 25 pounds in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It just flies off you because everything's screwed up. You're retaining fluid. Your sodium levels are off, and that helps, because the toughest part is the beginning. That's the tough part, is developing the habit. Once you start doing it, it's not that hard to continue.
Right.
Like, I got derailed because I got relatively sick. I got like a pretty bad flu virus that was going around. I think it wasn't quite the N1H1, the swine flu, but it was around that time period, and it laid me out for like 3 weeks, and that's 3 weeks I wasn't exercising and didn't really feel like doing it after that 3 weeks.
The thing that's hurting me right now is stress.
Yeah.
It's just stress. It's
And you know what every doctor will tell you.
I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, dude.
So for me, I'm having a hard time. I got to get out. I got to do things.
Yep.
And I think that's what I need to do most. You know, I have to agree with Steve, is I just got to get out of the house.
Right.
I got to go for a walk.
Yeah.
I got to do that.
It helps, but at the same time,
I'm finding myself hovering around my computer looking for the next job.
Right. Every doctor is going to tell you the same thing, too, which is if your stress levels are up, exercise is a healthy way of reducing your stress. Yeah. It is.
Maybe there's another form of exercise I can convince my wife to help me out. I'll have to ask.
It doesn't burn as many calories as you think it does.
Is that only because of the fact that I'm only in there for like 3 or 4 minutes, or is that because of the fact
and on
that
your back? Let's be honest.
In the prone position, you don't work off as many calories.
Girlfriends are always like, "What's your favorite position?" I'm like, "Take a guess. Which one involves the least amount of work?"
Nice.
But you dress it up. You're like, "Ooh, a woman on top's sexy, and she's in control." And
well, on
BS,
that note,
BS.
Speaking of great summertime activities, let's listen to this clip this week on TMOS with Rob and Mike.
So we're really going to come out on top on the season pass. Let's look at the numbers. You're the guy, the outlier.
Yeah.
The guy that messes up the numbers every year. And the Spiewak family came 300 times.
And keep in mind, I've only been twice this year.
How many times have they been?
I think this is their 5th or 6th time.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah. And some of those trips are 2-day trips.
Have you heard of the library?
Baby animals.
Have you heard of the library?
Without getting
Dominion, a great theme park. Okay.
With Carrie so delighted with her current employment status, when she gets a couple days off, I think she's trying a little too hard to be the fun mom.
Oh, really?
And I think that's what's going on.
Nothing wrong with that.
And you know what? Even a bad day at the theme park is probably still better than a fine day at home.
Okay, you've got a free day. You've got a free day in the middle of the week. You are the Spiewaks.
Tuesday is the best day to go to the theme park.
Take King's Dominion out of the equation. What can you do with your
And
children?
Five Guys.
And Five Guys.
And Costco and bowling.
Okay, fine. You know what we could do?
What?
We could go to the pool.
Go to the pool.
Sure.
That's what most kids do.
That's right.
You go to the community pool, mom lays out, and you just hang out. But it's King's Dominion again.
It is.
I would be okay if Carrie was my mom and taking me to King's Dominion 5 times a summer. Steve, what did you do during the summer when you were a kid?
I grew up in Florida, and so we went to Disney World quite a lot.
How many times in a summer would you go? 5 more?
About 6, 7.
So it's, you know.
Yeah, and in SeaWorld. And
so it's kind of normal for people to go that often.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. Maybe not. I'm just kidding.
In Florida, it's more usual. You know, you have that residence discount.
It's also more affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insanely expensive for people who are not in Florida, but if you're a local, it's definitely affordable. Mm-hmm. What about you, Jason? What did you do during the summer?
Mostly played in the neighborhood, or like Little League baseball, stuff like that.
Yeah, same here. I mean, mom, dad sent me outside, and I would go play with the neighbor kids. Went to camp. Did a lot of camp.
I'm not a camp guy. Never have been. Never enjoyed. Really? I give you a straight line like that, and you don't leap right onto it. I can tell you were waiting. Neurons firing a little slower.
Yeah.
I did the day camp thing.
That
was fun. I liked that.
I did overnight camp.
I did a day camp.
I enjoyed overnight
for a week, and I hated every second.
I grew up a lot at overnight camp. I'm just saying.
Sex camp?
Folks, no, it wasn't. Well, kind of. Folks, you just got a little insight into why we're always making child-touching jokes.
I was never a counselor.
You know what?
I was always the camper.
You know what camp I went to that was awesome? Was Marty Keene's golf camp.
A golf camp? I
was like 12. Yeah, it was actually kind of cool.
Okay, one, I don't get how golf is even fun in the first place, but secondly, going to a golf camp even more exciting.
Long bus ride, which was the toughest part of the day, because they'd go all over picking kids up, like all over northern Vermont, and then I think he had his course out in Stowe, maybe. So it was a nice course. It was on mountains, so you had really interesting structure to the holes and stuff. You had some downhills and uphills and stuff, but you got to play 18 holes a day. And then the end of the day, and perhaps this was the beginning of the obesity. At the end of the day, you would go to the putting green, and if you could sink like a putt, then you got a free Coke from the clubhouse. So that was the big deal. To get on the bus.
So this is you like sinking 6 of them.
I was a child prodigy. Actually, I had a really good short game. I had a good short iron game, but
that's what she said.
The problem now is I can't really swing a club. I have physical impediments, and it's not the gout.
Because you can't get the left arm around the gut to get that back
or
swing.
Or the right arm in the follow through. I'd have to take the old man stiff swing. That deal that never looked. I'm always like, why do they even bother at that?
So you're perfect at putt, but you suck at golf. That's what it comes down to.
Pretty much.
I never got golf. I
can't watch
it.
I cannot watch it.
But
I
you
have
had
a friend
lot
who loves to watch it.
To get back to the clip, though, I mean, it sounds like you had a lot of activities, probably with your parents during the summer. You were sent out on your own.
I was a moneyed child.
My parents kind of sent me out on my own, too. And, I lived in the neighborhood with John Wayne Gacy. That was fantastic.
Still think the theory here was they were trying to make sure you weren't coming back home.
You never know.
Here, look, bring him his clown paints.
There may be a conspiracy there. I don't know. But I'm alive. I'm alive today.
Go ask Mr. Gacy to make you a puppy out of this.
Oh, shut up. But I think that it's great. And it just speaks to Rob and Carrie, the amount of interaction and involvement that they have with their kids. And regardless of whether or not Carrie's taking the kids 5 times or 10 times to King's Dominion in the summer, I think it speaks really well that she is at least interacting with them.
Yeah.
And choosing to be with them. Because she could very well send them to some other parent's house. She could not deal with them at all.
They are the parents that other people send their kids to the house. They're the parents that are very look. We've talked about it's not just Rob. It's that family. They are the Rockwellian nuclear family. Out of all the people in TMOS, they're the ones. They're the ones that it's about the kids.
I would get into so much trouble in his house though. Because I would want to play with the jukebox.
Right.
I'd want to play with the microphones. I'd be that
kid. German helmets.
Because I remember as a kid, I would go over to other people's houses, and they would have these really cool things that I didn't have in my house. Like I remember when the neighbor kid got ColecoVision. But it wasn't the kids' ColecoVision. It was the parents' ColecoVision. And the first thing I wanted was to go play on the ColecoVision. And I got in trouble for playing on it.
Let's have a little moment of theater, shall we? Hi, Marcus. How are you? Hi, Mr. Spiewak. Can we go out to the garage and fire up your Messerschmitt? Would that be? Can you make the engine turn over and the blade spin again?
Nice. I think honestly, it just again, I played that clip and I asked because I think it's very normal for parents to interact with their kids, and I think it's very normal for a parent to take a kid to go to see King's if they have that ability. I mean, they had a pass. For God's sakes, use the pass. Why not? Why be that person who buys a pass, that expensive pass, by the way, and then uses it once? You might as well get some use out of it. And even here locally, we've got the Six Flags a couple of hours away, and you can get a season pass here. If I had a season pass, I'd be going 6-7 times. I'd get my use out of it.
As we've established, I'm a bit of a nerd. And when I was living in upstate New York in Amsterdam, I bought a year pass to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
How many times did you go?
Probably 5-6. That's not a short drive even from there. That's still like an hour and a half west.
And they don't change it much.
No, but what they were doing that summer that was really cool was XM was doing their Voices of the Game recordings there, so they would have in different famous...
You're talking about XM and being a kid?
No,
you're making me feel like
as an adult.
You're making me
as
feel
an adult, like I'm talking about 6 years ago.
Jesus.
I'm saying as an adult when I said I was working in Amsterdam. Oh. Yes, I was a child laborer.
Sorry, I missed it.
I was sewing Nikes and every day to decompress. No, they would have they talked to different announcers and fairly luminary individuals in the television and radio field of baseball, and have them in for interviews and tell stories from their playing days and stuff. It was pretty cool, and that was included in your, you didn't pay for anything. The admission was included all year, and you got to go to things like that. And then the really cool payoff at the end of the year was I talked to my father and my best friend into doing it, and we went to do Game 1 of the World Series at the Hall of Fame. You sit amongst the plaques, and they have a big screen television broadcasting the game. They do trivia and give out photos. They have free food and drinks. And we're huge Red Sox fans. And then that day was the XM radio show was Joe Castiglione, the Red Sox radio announcer for the last 30 years, talking. So it was an awesome day.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. And you spent that with your dad.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father never took me to nothing.
No Cubs games?
No, he didn't take me to.
That's sad.
Maybe he took me to one. I don't know. Who knows? In between beatings.
What was day base? Look, he wasn't part of the 15% of day baseball, Marcus.
Can I just say, I want to be adopted by Rob and Carrie Spiewak. I want to be a child in their house.
And now it comes out.
Yeah. That's what I think this all comes down to. I want to be one of their children because they treat them so well.
Well, the good news is you still have a pretty good shot at getting that turkey leg because they're apparently there quite a bit.
I just have to find Carrie.
Right.
Because Rob doesn't go as often.
Go for the soft touch.
That's right. She doesn't listen to me, the show. She doesn't listen to TMOS. So, she has no idea. She has no idea who I am. Be like, hi.
Did she not meet you at the Christmas party?
No, I met her at the Christmas party. Yeah. Yes, we did meet at our drunken best. Yes. Let's not even go down that road. Let's just end it there, shall we? And let's move on. Again, reminder, next week, Labor Day weekend, 3-day weekend. I'm going to let everybody enjoy it because next Saturday is my birthday. And so I'm going to take the weekend off for myself. So no O'MearaCast next weekend.
No best of?
No best of. We will be back in 2 weeks, and we will hopefully have a good show for you then. We'll see. And open phone lines.
We're due any day now.
Yeah. One of these days we're going to pull it off. Who knows? And we'll see who's going to be in here. I don't know who's on the schedule for that particular week. Are you going to be around? Probably not.
I got to find out. I got a wedding that day.
Oh, that's fine. You're going to be out? That's great. Fantastic news. Steve, you're going to be around, though, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Fantastic. It'll be Steve and me, and you can be out.
It was planned like a year ago. And it might be happening in the evening, so I won't rule anything out. It's probably unlikely.
Anyway, thanks, everybody, for your support of OMearaCast. Please, if you haven't done so already, go to facebook.com/OMearaCast and like us there. Follow the conversations that go on there because, I like to interact with the fans. I like to geek out with other fans of TMOS. By the way, Friday, I met a new local fan of TMOS.
Cool.
It was awesome. And we have connected on Facebook. I hope to have him here on the show, introduce him to you guys. And
give him the card for the caravan?
I did not speak to him about that yet. I did not want to overwhelm him with all of, the TMOS geek goo.
Didn't want to go single white female completely.
Yeah. Didn't want to go there yet. But, it's just great.
TMOS goo.
I think it's great to meet new people. And it was a matter of I was at the farmer's market and I was talking up some stuff that my wife is selling. And the guy said, your voice sounds really familiar. So I ran down the list, and at the bottom of the list was OMearaCast and TMOS, and he goes, yeah, that's it. And I'm like, oh, hey, fantastic, new guy, and hey, another guy for us to hang out with, have a beer with.
It's like it's like being in Spain and running into another English-speaking American. There's just an instant connection. You're like, you understand the language.
Exactly. Anyway, sorry to get off the rails there, but let's bring it back and say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to leave you with a wee bit of Rob Radio, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks right here on OMearaCast. Bye-bye, everybody. You can kill it. Hi, everybody. I'm giving some instructions to Steve.